Welcome to the Bright Insight Digital Health C-Suite series. I'm Chitra Nawbatt. Joining us today is Dr. Kal Patel, CEO and founder of BrightInsight. Kal, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chitra.
You've been in healthcare for 25 years, biopharma for about 10. Why did you start BrightInsight?
Yeah, let me start by first explaining what we do at BrightInsight. So BrightInsight's the leading global platform for pharma and medtech companies to build regulated digital health solutions. What we essentially do is get you out of doing a bespoke from scratch build that takes a ton of time and a lot of risk. And with our platform, what our customers can do is they get a proven platform that has all these configurable software tools that lets them build fully compliant, private, secure solutions and do that really quickly. So we built this company because when I was at Amgen, what I experienced trying to do these types of solutions was that it took many years, took a lot of money, and frankly, we didn't know what we were doing because we're not a software company, we were a drug company. So we built BrightInsight so we can really help take pharma and medtech products and help them be digitized to drive better clinical outcomes for patients and better business results for the companies.
Kal, you and I have talked about the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of companies out there, both large companies and startups, use similar language terminology. So bring it to life for us in terms of how you're different, the outcomes you're driving, through examples, whether it's for biopharma or medical device companies, diagnostic.
Yeah, you're right. There's a total alphabet soup right now in digital health, right? So you look at, like you said, the words are kind of being used everywhere. The real difference is we're a true platform company. And what I mean by that is from day one, we have been building infrastructure that is this proven, scalable, and configurable infrastructure. And it's all totally compliant to the requirements from a regulatory, privacy, and security perspective. So what that means for our customers, and to your point about proof, is that you can build a regulated digital health solution, whether it's an app, an algorithm, a connected medical device, a connected combination product, a smart diagnostic, basically anything in that software's medical device space, you can build it and get it to market at a speed and a level of compliance, robustness that you just can't do any other way. So as a proof point to your question, let's take one of our public customers, CSL Behring. So their flagship drug, Hizentra, we built an app for them in 6 months. Launched that and have tremendous adoption by that patient community. It has 4.6 rating in the App Store, and it's doing that because it solves a real problem for their patients, which is how do I track at-home infusions for my therapy, right? And so the data that's coming in is tremendous, and the value the patients are seeing is tremendous, right? And we were able to do that in a fully compliant way in 6 months and be able to scale that. Now, to your other point around, just to add to a little bit more proof there, we started in the United States for them. Now we're launching across the globe for them in all of their leading markets. Why? Because we took a platform approach to do that. You say, great, well, lots of people can build apps. Tell you what though, now we have gone from Hizentra to an enterprise deal with them. So now we're doing this across different disease areas, different digital solutions, and we can do it at the same level of speed and robustness and global adoption with languages, et cetera. Why? Because we take a platform first approach to what we do.
And what are the metrics that they're tracking that shows the outcome and the benefit, where they attribute that back to you and partnering with you?
Yeah, great question. So the great thing when you have a digital solution is you're getting all the data. And what we see in the data is both what's the adoption, but importantly, what percentage of patients continue to use the product. So last I checked, 89% of users were still using that app 12 months in. So you're not going to use something if you're not seeing the value of it, right? Beyond that, we're seeing how often are patients actually engaging with the solution? What kind of data are they actually storing, and when are they accessing that? So those are the kinds of proof points that they're seeing that clearly the user base of that for their patients and their app, that the app's users are clearly seeing the value. Otherwise, they wouldn't be using the product week in and week out the way that the data shows that they are.
In tough times, we're in a recessionary environment, inflation, and even in quote unquote normal times, companies are focused on ROI. So you're that life sciences biopharma company, medical device company. You've got only so many dollars. Of course, a lot of those dollars go to new drug development, discovery. You've got budget for commercial, budget for internal. What's the justification, Kal? Why you? And also too, they also want to manage that budget with the large cloud providers, right? So there's so many stakeholders in the ecosystem competing for their dollar. How do they say, you know what, I'm going to prioritize spend with a digital health startup like you?
So look, we fundamentally believe any digital health spend has to do two things. One is deliver clinical benefit, and the second is drive ROI for your business. If it's not doing those two things, I'm not sure why you're doing it. So to your point around the ROI piece, you absolutely want to make sure that you're building solutions that are going to do one of three things. They're either going to expand the market for your solution, right? Bring more patients to your therapy. You're going to get them onto your therapy more successfully. Almost every pharma company has challenges between a physician writes that prescription and it gets converted to the prescription actually being filled by the patient. And the third is you want to keep them on therapy, right? And so what we do with our digital health solutions is, and give examples, is they're attacking one or all of those problems for any given drug that we're working with. And if you can do that, that's how you drive ROI.
Kal, barriers to market penetration. How do you get user adoption at scale?
Yeah, so user adoption at scale, it's fundamentally about two things for us from our experience. Number one is you actually have to solve in a really effective way a real pain point for the user. I'm just shocked by how many digital health solutions don't actually solve a problem that the patient actually or the user identifies with, right? So we spend a lot of time working with our customers, partnering with them to ensure we really understand deeply what are the pain points for the user, and secondly, how can digital in a meaningful way address those pain points? That's what we did with Hizentra, and that's why it has the kind of adoption and long-term utilization that I mentioned. So that's number one. You got to solve a real problem and do that incredibly effectively. Number two, you got to then think about how do I drive the awareness? And that really gets to being disease specific. So in the cases of rare diseases, for example, there's often many times patient communities already oriented. So as soon as a few patients find out, they share this solution with others, and that can drive organic adoption, right? When you get into other areas, let's say like diabetes, where there's a lot more solutions and a lot more noise, if you will, you got to put marketing dollars behind that. You got to think about how am I going to effectively educate the physician community or the patient community, et cetera, about our solution to drive that adoption. We partner with our customers at both ends of that.
Kal, what's the digital health trend that will dominate market opportunity this year?
Yeah, look, there has been so much money, so much hype, so much alphabet soup over the years in digital health. I think this is a year where you start translating from dollars put into ROI, frankly, right? You got to start showing what are the products that are getting launched, what kind of adoption are they getting, what kind of clinical benefit are they delivering for the patient in the system, and ultimately how are they driving incremental financial results for your business. And I think 2023 is going to really separate the companies that have been sort of making claims about what they can do from those that can prove it.
Leadership, Kal, in career, life, business, there are codes, norms on how things are done. Where have you been a code breaker in your journey, and how did you do it?
For early on, I've always been driven by what am I passionate about. And if you look at my career, in some ways I feel I'm incredibly fortunate because I've lived 4 or 5 different careers. I went to medical school, I have a physician, I have a medical degree, and then I did 5, 6 years, 7 years of management consulting, working across healthcare, right, and driving impact at scale through that, right? And that was a big career change to, from thinking about practicing medicine to being a consultant. Then I left the consulting side, said, let me become an operator, right, and joined big pharma, like some Novartis and Amgen, and took on, roles in a totally different type of system. And then at the, in some ways I would say the peak of my career in pharma, I left to become an entrepreneur, right? And so for me, the code break is you got to wake up and say, if today's my last day, or I look back 10 years from now, am I going to regret not making the decision, right? So for me, I don't worry about failing. I worry about not making the decision that's going to let me be passionate and drive impact.
Kal, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Chitra, for having me. This was a lot of fun.